Welcome to another MTGMoxBox video, your destination for Magic the Gathering box breaks and more. If you like what we do, please support us by participating in our box breaks. You can find us on our website, MTGMoxBox.com, or through our listings on eBay under seller handle MTGMoxBox. You can also find us on social media in the links in the description below, and watch us play Magic on Twitch under MTGMoxBox. Finally, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know what you think. In this Commander Pageant video series, we highlight commanders that we personally picked and talk about how we would build a deck around them.
We will talk about a theme or win strategy to build around, and we will highlight several cards from more recent sets that will support these strategies.
Then we'll go deeper into one of the chosen commanders to build out a rough deck list.
Alright, in this episode of Commander Pageant, today we'll be picking out commanders from Streets of New Capenna. This is Tony.
This is Lawrence.
This is Joseph.
Alright, and for this set, today I've picked Raffine, Scheming Seer.
And I picked Lord Xander, the Collector.
And I picked Jetmir, Nexus of Revels.
Alright, so for Raffine, Raffine Scheming Seer is a legendary 1/4 Sphinx demon in Esper color, so that's white, blue, black. It has flying, ward 1, and whenever you attack, target attacking creature connives X, where X is the number of attacking creatures, and then you draw X cards, then you discard X cards, and then you put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each non-land card discarded this way. So it's like a looting effect, and the way I built this is I'm going to try to do Demon Tribal and try to win with Liliana's Contract or Demonic Pact. So, let's see. Yeah, so the reason why I picked this commander is when this card got revealed, I think this was the first legendary demon that got spoiled that had white in its color identity. So I thought it was an interesting direction to explore. Now that the entire set has been revealed, I think the two other families that are also led by demons have white in their identity, but Raffine's colors I feel like have, and her connive ability, offers the best shell to build around for what we want to do. In this deck, we're basically going to try to bring out some low mana value demons, and then start taking advantage of the connive ability to dig for the win con, which is Liliana's Contract. And then, as a secondary option, we can also try to donate the Demonic Pact to one of our opponents, just for fun.
Just for
if you're not going to win, then make sure you take someone down with you.
Wow. I didn't know it's a suicidal thing.
Yes. Well, whenever you make a contract with the demons, it's a bit of a gamble.
Life lessons.
Yes, life lessons. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, having white in the identity gives us better access to enchantment removal and recursion, so it kind of reduces the risk of our strategy. And then the blue side gives us access to additional control options. Recently released or reprinted demons that can synergize well with Raffine. I picked the low CMC ones, so there's Dream Devourer. That's the one that allows you to foretell cards. Blade of the Oni, that's the equipment demon from Neon Dynasty. Embodiment of Agonies, which has flying and death touch, and then +1/+1 enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counter for each different mana cost among non-land cards in your graveyard. So if you're conniving a lot, this can possibly enter in as a pretty big demon. Varagoth Bloodsky Sire. This is the nice one. This is the one from Kaldheim that boasts. And when you're boasting, target player searches their library for a card, shuffles their library, and then puts that card on top of it. So easy way to bring out your win con pretty early.
It's good tutor.
Yep. So other cards I'd consider include Secure the Wastes, Stolen by the Fae, Call the Coppercoats, as well as Chasm Skulker. So the reason why I kept included these is, these can help create a bunch of expendable creatures to help increase the value of X for Raffine's connive, which allows you to dig deeper with every attack. I think Chasm Skulker works really well too, because let's see, it's a squid horror, 1/1 squid horror, and then whenever you draw a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. So it's getting bigger by itself already as you connive, And then when it dies, you basically end up with a whole bunch of 1/1 squid creatures with Island Walk. So, yeah, it just synergizes really well. And for the rest of the deck, as I mentioned earlier, we are building around a control shell. So recent cards that fit that role include counter spells like Negate and Saw It Coming, as well as removal spells like Baleful Mastery and Power Word Kill. Yep, and going back to our goal, so this deck is going to try to win using Liliana's Contract. And that's the one where, that's the enchantment for 3 black. And then when it enters the battlefield, you draw 4 cards, you lose 4 life. But at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you win the game. So kind of goes into the whole demon tribal win con. Secondary, aka if you're losing, or you just want to make the game interesting, you also have Demonic Pact, which is 2 black enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you choose one that hasn't been chosen. It can deal 4 damage to target creature or player and you gain 4 life. Target opponent discards 2 cards, or you can draw 2 cards, or the last option, when all other options have been chosen, you lose the game. So obviously you're going to try to donate this right before you pick that last option to an unfortunate opponent. But yeah, that's the deck that I put together.
Actually, for the Demonic Pact, if you picked all 3 besides the user's game, when you donate it to a...
It still stays on the battlefield. You're just exchanging, basically changing control. So it's not the same as like blinking or...
No, but I mean, like, does that mean your opponent only has that one?
Yeah, exactly. Option? Once you pick the 3 other options, you have to pick one that hasn't been chosen yet. So they have to lose. They have to pick the option where they lose the game. So that's how that works.
Wow. Well, at least they have... actually, yeah, potentially until their upkeep. So
yeah,
potentially, but yeah. I guess.
Mean the key is to counter that donate?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's not going to be a really powerful deck, but it's just fun.
Again,
fun for a demon. Fun for the demon, and maybe you.
All right.
Okay, so I pick Lord Xander, the collector. 4 blue, black, red. Legendary creature, vampire, demon, noble. When Lord Xander, the collector, enters the battlefield, target opponent discards half the cards in their hand, rounded down. Whenever Lord Xander attacks, defending player mills half their library. Yes, rounded down. When Lord Xander dies, target opponent sacrifice half the non-land permanents they control, rounded down. See, he's not that greedy. He only wants half of your stuff.
What are you, Thanos?
He is a fun commander. If you don't like seeing your opponents having cards in their hands, library, or even on the board, he will likely be nominated as Player Hated of the Year. Hate. So let's go on to how to abuse / optimize each of these triggers. First, this is ETB trigger. We can add Essence Flux from Jumpstart to blink him so that you can use his trigger again for ETB. You can target 2 opponents instead of 1, or you can target the same opponent twice if you don't like him or her. No. You can also use Milgram or Liliana's Caress from M11 or Milgram from M10. I think Core 10 and Core 2011 to deal 2 damage whenever an opponent discards a card, so this will add up pretty quickly.
Oh yes.
Adding salt to their wounds, you can use Tigrid, God of Fright from Kaldheim, which will allow you to put the discarded card into the battlefield under your control. You can also get some card draw with Gef's Grimoire from Mystery Booster. You can add Blood Chief's Ascensions, Zendikar, to drain their life away, because that card says at the beginning of each end step, if an opponent loses 2 or more life each turn, you can put a quest counter on Blood Chief Ascension, so that's pretty easy because they're losing life already because they're discarding. And whenever a card is put into the graveyard, opponent's graveyard from anywhere, Blood Chief Ascension has 3 or more quest counters. You can have that player lose 2 life. If you do, you gain 2 life.
Gross.
So yeah, very beneficial to you. And you want to turn that into a loop? Just add Mind Crank from Iconic Masters. Whenever an opponent loses life, that player puts that many cards from the top of his or her library into his or her graveyard.
Well, is that going to be an infinite? Like, it mills them out completely, right?
But it's not discard, though.
It's not discard, but you're putting it into
graveyard from anywhere.
You can put graveyard from anywhere for blood cheap ascension.
Yeah.
So it just loops on and on and on.
Oof.
Until they die.
Painful.
And you gain a bunch of life. Oh no. But this is not the sauciest part of Lord Xander. His buddy is his second trigger, which is to add Bruvek, his buddy, the Grandiloquent from Jumpstart. When they're both on the board, you swing with Lord Xander. It doesn't even matter if he gets blocked. There goes most of their library. In case that doesn't do the trick, you add Maddening Concaphony from Zendikar Rising. If you pay the kicker cost, each opponent mills half the library rounded up. Again, if that doesn't work, you have Traumatize from Core 2014. Target player puts top half of the library rounded down into his or her graveyard. If that doesn't work, you have Fracture Sanity. And which is from MH2, each opponent mills 14 cards. And if you cycle it, you can only make them mill 4 cards. But,
wow.
You know.
I didn't realize that Wizard has been trying to make mill happen for so long.
Yeah, there are actually so many crazy mill cards support.
I think they're almost at that point where, pretty much at the point where it's gonna be enough to actually work in a multiplayer setting, because that's the hardest part.
I actually might build this deck. I was getting pretty excited by researching. Because this next friend is even grosser. Sir Conrad, Grim, Legendary Knight from Zendikar Rising Commander. Whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into the graveyard from anywhere other than battlefield, so let's just say milling, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Sir Conrad deals 1 damage to each opponent. You can pay 1 black to ask each player to mill a card.
Yeah.
So as they mill half their library away, there are bound to be creatures there.
Yeah.
And Sir Conrad will just deal 1 damage for each of those creatures. In case you want more
As if that weren't enough.
No, yeah, because you add some crabs.
Why stop there? Yes.
You add some crabs to ruin their day with Ruin Crab or Hedron Crab from Zendikar Rising and original Zendikar. That will just ruin their day.
Yep.
Finally, the death trigger, as if those two are not enough. Let's just keep your opponent's board tidy. Return to action from Neon Dynasty protects Lord Xander. So until end of the turn, target creature gets +1/+0, gains lifelink. And when this creature dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner control.
But all the ETBs again.
All the ETB comes back. Death trigger also triggered. You get half their board state removed, and you get to half their hands. And you can do Mirror Box to copy him. If you really want to get nasty, get Helm with the Hose as well.
Is it not nasty enough?
Yeah, I know. I think we passed nasty a while ago already.
If you want nasty in a cheap way,
yes,
you get to put Phantasmal Image, Right of Replication.
Oh no.
Legend rule applies, but it doesn't matter. You get the ETB effects. You get the death triggers.
Yeah. So just a whole bunch of clone effects.
Whole bunch of clone effects, whole bunch of triggers. If you're feeling lucky, you want to gamble, you can do Molten Echoes, which again, the ETB triggers. And then the death triggers also Mirror March. You get to do coin flips, and the same thing happens. Finally, as if that's not enough.
I feel like you've done so much extra research on this one.
Yes, I was like, this is getting more and more interesting. Blade of Chaselves, or Strionic Resonator, will just copy trigger abilities.
Oh, yes. Alright.
Okay.
There's another instant you might want to consider. It's black, called Feign Death. 1 black to cast. Until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with +1/+1 counter on it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so just like the other one, the one in Neon Dynasty.
And then isn't there a recent card called Persist that will add Persist,
Persist
basically
will
to
also
it?
work too.
Will also do the same.
Yeah, Black has had a lot of ways of just reanimating or quickly reanimating a dead creature.
Yeah, so this card is not broken at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he costs 7 CMC.
So when's he gonna get banned?
No. Why are you hating?
Hate.
All right, the commander I picked is Jetmir, Nexus of Revels. It's a commander that helps you go wide. Its first section of its ability says creatures you control gets +1/+0 and have vigilance as long as you control 3 or more creatures. The second section says creatures you control also get +1/+0 and have trample as long as you control 6 or more creatures. The last section says creatures you control gets +1/+0 and have double strike as long as you control 9 or more creatures. So at the end of the day, if you control 9 or more creatures, they all get +3/+0 with vigilance, trample, and double strike. That includes Jetmir itself.
Oh my god.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with the go right strategy in mind, I went with a landfall creature token focus. I included cards with landfall triggers that create creature tokens such as Skewed Swarm from Zendikar Rising, Rampaging Baloth from Commander Legends, and Zendikar's Royal
Oh yes.
from Jumpstart.
Looks
I also
so
included
familiar.
other cards with landfall triggers that might help with my strategy, such as Lotus Cobra, Seer, Sundial, and Fiddler Retreat. Yeah. Alright, so some of the new cards from Streets of New Capenna are nice complements to the strategy, such as Bootlegger Stash and Ginny Faye, Jetmir's second. They work well with each other. Bootlegger's Stash allows all my lands to create treasure tokens. I would have plenty of lands because of all the ramp-related cards I have for my landfall strategy. Then Ginny Faye turns those treasure tokens to either cat or dog tokens for my go wide strategy. And next, I have Fabin Boss's Confidant. Gives all creature tokens haste. Its parlay ability allows me to potentially create new creature tokens, buff my creature tokens, and finally draw a card. Even though each player draws a card, but ideally the benefit will outweigh all the little disadvantage. Next, I have Benny Brack's Zoologist. Can help with my card draw aspect. Ideally, I'll be creating some type of token each turn, and this allows me to draw a card at my end step. And it's actually each end step, so I'm able to create a token during my opponent's turn. I get to draw a card during their end step. So, like I said, if I have Bootlegger Stash in play, I can tap my land, create creature treasure token, then draw a card.
And get some cat or dog.
Yep. And I also added a Topiary Stomper. Allows me to search for basic land and put it in the battlefield. In turn, allows me to trigger additional landfall when I need it. Next, I have Titan of Industry. Allows me to create a creature token when I need it or do target removal. Finally, there's a new land that is nice for landfall decks. Cabaret Courtyard. When this land enters the battlefield, sacrifice it and search your library for either a basic mountain, forest, or plains. Put it in the battlefield and you gain a life. This allows 2 landfall triggers, similar to when you crack a fetch land. So it will, again, allow me to have multiple landfall triggers just by using 1 land. And yep, this deck is actually fully built out. You can find the complete deck list in the video or search for it on moxfield.com under ID MTGMoxBox or deck name OG Cat Viper.
Wow. Cool name.
What did you guys think about our deck direction? Would you build them in a different way?
If you liked the video, please click like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, and tell your dog.
If you like box breaks, please check out our past box break videos or join us in our live box breaks.
And if you're curious about price trends of singles from recent sets, check out our Price Monitor series from our channel.
Alright guys, just want to go over our inventory really quickly for Streets of New Capenna. They're under pre-order right now, should be out this Friday. For the collector box, we have 4 slots left. For the set and draft box, we have 7 slots left. And then going back to Neon Dynasty, for the collector box, we have 5 slots left. For the set box, we have 7 slots left. And then Time Spiral Remaster, we have 7 slots left for the draft box. And Commander Legends for the draft box, we have 6 slots left. So let's do the giveaway now. And I believe the question from the last video was, how would you deal with Luxior? Jetta's GIF. 8 comments. Merple. Take all their counters with Ether Snap or Thief of Blood. Yeah, that'll work. Congratulations. We'll be sending you your free back. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.